Morning, good morning. Welcome back to Day and Night Services. Day and Night Firewood. Jake here. Thanks for swinging by. As always, got the Oakleys. No big deal. Oakley. What? Okay. It's a little brisk this morning. I think it was down to like 31 last night. So we're going to split up some wood on the EastenMade AXIS. So, as a 31-degree morning, let's start this thing up and see what we got. I'm gonna guess 3 pulls. As always, you check your dipstick. You know what I say? I'm pretty sure it's full. Oh yeah, 10-4. If I can get this confusing Briggs & Stratton fuel cap on this thing. Not that it's Briggs & Stratton technically, but choke. Fuel on a little bit, and 1, 2, oh, 3 on the money. Shishy. How do you like them apples? EastenMade AXIS. Let's go. Yeah, how's everyone doing? Excuse me. Today we're just going to split up some wood. I know everybody loves a nice log splitting video because there's 10,000 of them out there. We'll do 10,001. But the one thing I always do, this stuff, she. Let's see, my plethora of sauces here. I used to have some fluid film, but I guess not. We'll use this garbage. I get this from work. I don't even know. Trash is what it is, but it works. You always got to lube up your slides. It's probably a smart thing to do every time you do this. And don't forget your coffee. All right, we'll get cracking here. We got a bunch of oak to split up, a couple pieces of walnut, some ash, but yeah. Need to watch this. I think these guys should start coming out with an angled wedge. I think that would help slice through the wood better, and it wouldn't pop so bad. And I'll go into detail about why I have this expanded metal on my deck as well. These vertical machines can be very unsafe if you're not paying attention. And I'm not sure why any of them haven't integrated this into it yet, but all right, you saw that. You saw that popping action. You're going to get that on a lot of wood anyway. My thing is, they make all these wedges are the same across the board. Every single person has a wedge that is, I would say, 90 degree to the splitting surface, which the table would be the splitting surface. This would be the splitting wedge, you could say, to be technical. I would like to see these guys, and I would say leading edge here on the outside, so it's always trying to suck the wood in to the fence, I would call it. If they added, you know, I don't know, it'd be a prototype for a while, that's for sure. But if they added, you know, we're talking 3/4 of an inch or something, if they added 3/4 of an inch longer to I would say the leading edge of the wedge, so it's kind of at an angle, it would pierce into the wood faster. It would pierce into the wood and start splitting it. Notice how most splitting axes are round, or axes anything. Most axes or splitting mauls and stuff like that they have a radius to them for a reason. I think that would be killer. I think that would get away from this thing popping so bad. And these vertical machines, I've only run mine. But this one, as far as the EastenMade goes, this thing seems to really, and that wasn't even super violent, but it seems to really blow the wood apart at times. I think if they angle, you know, you're still putting your taper on, you're still going to have your taper. But I think if they added length to one side and made it kind of an angle, you know, maybe a 2 or 5 degree, something of that nature, that would take away from the wood going. While I'm talking about it, this goes explicitly for the vertical machines. So the big dogs, I would say right now, are Power Split, EastenMade AXIS, and the Wolf Ridge VS machines. If you don't know what I'm about to say, I'll tell you. Not if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you don't know. These machines have a big problem with firing wood out at your pecker or your stomach area if you're not paying attention. Knotty stuff. Oak is hard because burr oak grows with this one. It grows with a twist. See this grain? This wood's this way. The grain is literally almost at a 45 degree. That's how bad it is. You get gnarly pieces, you'll start splitting. These things will literally shoot out at you. We're talking, you know, this is a 14 ton. So lots of tonnage coming at you. You know, thousands of PSI worth of pump pressure and thousands of pounds of per square inch of force coming down. And all I did, this is still like, I wouldn't say prototype, but I just found some expanded metal I had, tack welded it on. I did 70-18, but it's just enough to catch. Now I think I'm going to cut all this extra garbage off and just do like a 12, maybe like a 12 by 12 square. But it's just enough to hold the wood from flying out at you. And I don't know why. I've seen a couple guys on YouTube that have already integrated something onto their table. But super dangerous. Wolf Ridge, explicitly, or especially Wolf Ridge and EastenMade, and probably Power Split. You guys need to get that figured out because that's something they're not going to tell you, and I will tell you. I've had it happen, and it's super dangerous. I don't know why they don't have it integrated, some kind of a catch or holding device on the bottom of this table to keep the wood from flying out. But along with that, I think if they put an angled wedge in here, I think that, yeah, it might be a little more strain on the system, but it's already hooked up to the ram anyway. I don't think you're really going to get too much more flex or deflection out of the system. Take notes, and I'll be your guinea pig. I'm in southeastern Wisconsin, Wolf Ridge. Jakey will do it for you. But angled wedge and something on the table is a must. I think that's a must. I think it's a game changer. I think it's a real life upgrade. So what else? I don't know. I could do a little review on the EastenMade here. The review is pretty much no problems. Good to go. The only thing I'd say is the table. I do not like how there's nothing on the table when you get these things. It's just smooth, not cool. And I did add this. I added this bolt winch, EastenMade. I'm not sure why you do that. If you're, you know, obviously you guys are still, you know, ever changing, ever evolving. I get it. If you don't do something like Wolf Ridge, I'm gonna relate to Wolf Ridge because they're the only other big manufacturer out there that's doing stuff, and I would say doing it a lot easier for the customer. Trying to hook this table up to the push ram is a MF, a mother effer by yourself if you don't have help. It's, I don't understand EastenMade. If you're going to do it that way, great. Put a $20 bolt winch on it. I just drilled a hole, bolted a pulley, snatch blocks, whatever, hooked to the ring. I like to keep this thing up in the air whenever I'm not splitting, because you'll go to move this thing in the dead of winter and then the freaking thing settled to the ground, and now you got to start it up, let it warm up a minute, and then lift it up. Put a bolt winch on it, EastenMade. For hooking and unhooking this thing, it makes it 1,000 times easier. Take notes if need be. I don't know. Otherwise, yeah, EastenMade, rocking and rolling. Live for the future, not the day. How about that one? Maybe I should get a slogan going, huh? Trademarked by Batman. You're welcome. Live for the future, not the day. Semper Fi.